Welcome back to another video, everybody. It is November 10 today. So today in this video we are going to get started by changing silo doors. So behind me here we have our 3 tower silos. We have our 20 by just over 80, our 18 by 75, and our 16 by 65. All of them need the doors changed in them. It has been about 2 weeks since I have climbed silos, but this time it has worked out that all of them need the doors changed at the same time. So how we tell is we put a clothespin on the winch and it works up there. You can see that blue clothespin there, so that's 2 doors on the 16 foot, 2 doors on this 18 foot, and then if we walk around to the 20 foot, which will be the silo that we start with, that one needs them changed as well. So you can see this silo over here, the green clothespin. So we will go ahead and change silo doors. This silo here is a little different than the other two. It runs into this conveyor, which brings it into the feed room. So the clear chute on this one, this bag here is what we call the clear chute. It keeps the feed chute clean. It just gets fastened to the conveyor with a bag, like that. The bag gets lowered down doors as we change doors, and then we just cut off the extra. So that is what we are going to get started with. I'm going to climb up to the top of this silo. It is, I believe there's only 6 or 4 empty doors in it right now, so still have to climb about 70 feet. So we're up in this 20-foot silo now. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 empty doors. Nearly 6. So normally I lower every other door, but this time I guess there just wasn't quite enough feet out, so I'm only going to lower it 1 door. The pro to that is I don't have to climb the chute again to set the next door. I don't always have to, but then you have to climb the silo a little more. Typically I go every other, but it is nice just to change doors for a day and be done with it. So the GoPro ended up falling off the silo unloader. I had it just sitting here. At some point I'm gonna buy a magnet mount for it, but dropped it down 1 door. I really like this yellow jacket unloader, just because this here, to lift and lower the chute, is just a handle. Just like that. You don't need a wrench like in the 18 foot, but yeah, we just went down 1 door. Too bad. I was hoping to go down 2, just because that's normally what I do. This silo here, I will show you what's a little different. We run a cable over the wall on this one. So over here, there's a cable, and it pulls up and down over that pulley. I am not completely sold on this idea yet. The guys that built the silo told me this is what's better. You know, the guy that fixes my unloader says it's better, but just so you can kind of see what I'm thinking, this cable is under a lot of strain because it's always rolling over the wheel. I do wonder about the longevity of it. I will show you what the other options were. One of them is a looping kit. I will show you that in the next silo I changed the door in. All 3 of our silos have a little bit of a different setup, and there's pros and cons to every bit of it, but that is kind of what I've noted. Yeah, we're gonna keep using it and we'll see. But I am glad to have one of each and not all of this or all of looping kits or all of pulling the cable up the chute, but that is what we got going on. So this one, 20-foot yellow jacket unloader with independent ring drive. It's a pretty nice silo unloader. I do work it pretty hard, but it really throws out the feed. But we'll climb down now. So for the bag on this silo, once I finally sort through my pockets and grab a knife, so this is what I'm talking about. It gets lowered down the chute. In this case, just the door. Generally, I find the length I want it at. Give it a rough cut. Open it up. Pull it down over. And then I clamp it to the top as much as possible. Just like that, and all the feed flows down through the bag in there, and that keeps that chute nice and clean. I can get it a little tighter, or it can stay this loose. It doesn't really matter. The clothespin gets reset. Put that there. And then when it's 2 more doors again, next time I will get 2 doors for sure. More often than not I get 2. You'll see that in the other 2 silos. They will both need to be dropped down 2 doors. So, but yeah, this silo's working out quite well for us. A lot nicer than dealing with the egg bags, but I'm still not sold over the cable on the wall, and I do like this conveyor. It works, but I still would not have minded the idea of a fully enclosed chain conveyor, because I do not love the idea of the fines there. It works, but just for the cost, this was half the cost of a chain conveyor. It's hard to justify. Okay, now for this Halid silo. This one's a little simpler. Clear chute just hangs in here with a vice grip. A Halid silo tends to be a little more dirty, more fines with it, and the feed's a little drier. So that is why the chute will be a little dustier. This silo is a little darker because the chutes are metal instead of poly. I like the poly a lot better. The other silo also has poly doors, and I like that a little better as well. That was a big improvement. You see a lot of silos with the concrete chutes. I guess the idea is it provides extra reinforcement apparently, but with these stave block silos, the bands give it all the reinforcement it needs, and you can get a nicer chute. This one here we changed out to plastic a couple years ago, and it also got newer doors put in it before the poly doors were a thing. But we'll climb this silo and change doors now, but this one is a little darker on the inside. So we're in the next silo now. This one I had pushed pretty far in terms of a door change. If I show ya, my handy dandy light, there's a torque arm. You can see we are just at the end of that there, and it was just reaching. Sometimes it causes problems when you go this far. I was going to change doors on Saturday, but I got caught up with a couple of issues on some other stuff, so that is why we did not get to it. But we're going to go ahead now and drop this silo down every other door to there. that is the door changed. There are 2 doors dropped in this silo. We are feeding quite heavy out of this 18-foot. You can see we already have quite a bit of it empty. That small silo has quite a lot of haylage in it as well. So that works out. This silo here is the looping kit on the cable. So if I can show you, there's loops to hold the cable on, and it self-lowers as the unloader goes up, and it just goes up along that cable to the top of the silo. But yeah, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 empty doors in this silo already. We just switched to a different type of feed out of here. We had finished all of that second cutting, new seeding, and now we are on to just regular, I believe, third cut or second cut. I don't remember off the top of my head now that I come to think of it, but that is what we have going on here. This is an 18-foot patch unloader. This silo unloader is, I guess, around 10 years old now, I want to say. It's a pretty good unloader. I think once we have this silo empty, we're going to have to put a new set of knives on this one as well as the 16-foot. But generally, we don't get the silo empty. This year, I am trying to because I have 2 haylage silos and it would be nice. So we will climb down and out of here again. Then we'll do the small silo, but I believe this silo is actually the least amount of climbing right now, as it has the least amount of feed in it for height, but not for volume. What I would figured I'd show you is that, so on this silo here, instead of the handle, there's this little kind of a square nut. So if you want to adjust this, you need to bring either a wrench or a vice grip, loosen it and slide it up and down. It works, but I think now, knowing what I know, I will probably end up making another handle for this one in the spring, just so that I never need to worry about that. Because it is kind of a bit of a bummer if you make it up here and you need to adjust that, and then the wrench is kind of 75 feet down. But it's not a big deal. It doesn't happen very often. Today, I did not have to adjust that due to how long I waited in between door changes. So each door is 2.5 feet in the silo. So that is about 5 feet of clean chute or bag. And there we go. That is the door changed. So it'll probably be another 2 weeks or 10 days till I have to climb this silo again. We are feeding pretty heavy out of it, as right now we are still feeding no round bales. So there's about 65 dairy cows eating off of that, and then there's about another 60 animals in the heifer barn eating off of that. So we are feeding quite a lot of animals haylage out of the silo. Due to the snow, the heifers are done kind of grazing on that pasture. So now they are eating a lot more haylage as well. But we have a lot of round bales to go through as well. But if I can, I do prefer, even though I have my own round baler now, to put the feed volume in the tower silos and feed TMR. There's advantages to that. I can blend mineral in and corn silage in better. So that pen that goes in and out is just getting haylage and mineral. We are not free choicing the mineral anymore. It is going in the mixer. So that means that the far off dry cows kind of have to eat the mineral. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this is our mineral. You can kind of see what's in it. So just some vitamins and nutrients. When it's free choice, you don't have the same level of control over whether all of the heifers and dry cows are eating it or not. But when it is in the mixer, you know they're gonna get it. So I just find the TMR keeps the condition on them, so that is why I like it. But we're gonna climb our last silo now to change doors. This one is still fairly full as well. There's still 2 doors of corn silage left in here. Alright, we are in our 16-foot silo now. This one here has a patch unloader in it as well. It has 10 empty doors in it now. This silo unloader, it's a really good unloader. I guess I could have the tipper set a little tighter. But anyway, it's alright. But you can see we can just change the door in this one as well. I opened that middle door just to let some more light in. So this silo here has the lighter chutes for the doors, which is nice, but I do like to set the doors on the way down if I can. It saves the job in the spring, and it really doesn't take you too long when you're currently in here. So yeah, we feed out of this silo in the morning, corn silage, and at night we feed out of the 20-footer. It is quite a lot of surface area for corn silage for the number of dairy cows that we feed, but this one only has 2 more doors of corn in it, maybe a little less than that, so that is fine. This silo loader here used to be a bear claw chain instead of an auger with knives. Bear claw chain meaning a chain used to scrape the feed into the blower there and blow it out. When the bear claw chain broke for the last time and went in the blower, then we switched it over to an auger with knives and put in a new blower. The silo loader is quite a few years old, but it has a lot of new parts and it works really well. So it's not going anywhere. This one does not have the cable over the wall or a looping kit. This one, you need to manually unhook the cable, loop it down, and pull it through the next door. It's the simplest way to do it, but you can imagine this cable starts to weigh quite a bit when you're pulling it up the chute 65 feet. So there's pros and cons to every setup for running the cable. It works quite well. There's less to worry about with this one in the sense sometimes, but I would not want it in a big silo. So yeah, that is what we have going on. But we'll drop this silo down 2 doors. And there you go, that is the door changed. So every silo is a little different. This one is actually probably my favorite silo to change doors in, because I can stand on the ring drive and there. On the 18-footer and on the 20, I stand on this bar here, which actually goes out and drops down a little more, which is fine too. This silo we used to fill twice a year, top to bottom. We'd empty it and fill it. It works well. I really like this silo. It's actually probably at one point was my favorite one. Now that 20-footer is really nice too. There's nothing wrong with that 18, it's just a little darker to climb. But that is what changing silo doors looks like on our farm. yeah, in a world where a lot of people are running now bunker silos and ag bags, I did ag bags for a couple years. It just wasn't for me. Ag bags on dirt made a lot of mud on our soil. And this past year, thought, well, if we put up a silo, we won't need to rent a bagger anymore or a bigger tractor to put on the bagger. Won't have to wait for a bagger. Corn silage we made this year is of amazing quality. It's good feed. Once we're only feeding out of one corn silage silo, it'll be even better. Not that there's anything wrong with the corn silage coming out of here. It is fresh and everything, but just when we're pulling off a couple more inches off the big silo every day, that'll be a little nicer. But I'll put the clean chute back in here, shut the door, and we will climb down. And then I will feed my third load of milk cow TMR. And there you go. We're mixing the afternoon batch now. So when everything works good, as long as you maintain the unloader, you just kind of climb, you change your 2 doors or your 1 door every week, 10 days or 2 weeks. And the rest of the time, just let it run in. I do think we're gonna save quite a bit of money now on diesel fuel. The difference being now we aren't scooping out of ag bags anymore. Hydro is cheaper than diesel fuel to run per hour. Even if you'd argue that the repairs on the silo and loader versus a loader tractor would be similar, you could say that, I guess. But yeah, I know silo and loader is a lot of money, and of course then you have to have 3 of them versus you could just have 1 loader tractor scooping out of a bunk or out of a bag. But I'm quite happy with their feeding setup. It's nice, feeds fresh, don't have to throw tires in the cold weather when you're cutting back plastic. One person can pretty well look after everything. I know you can do that too with bunk silos, but it only takes 2 to fill. It's just what I have chosen to be best for our farm. There's pros and cons to everything, but between these 3 silos we'd be able to milk 100 cows quite comfortably. So yeah, but we'll get this load fed out, go grab some lunch, and then we'll see what we get up to this afternoon. There's quite a lot of stuff I do want to get done in the next couple of days, but I'm going to see what I want to prioritize.